Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Whitton and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, Monday the 14th. Accelerating quickly towards the end of the year, folks, but it's not over yet. Morning to you, Jeff. Up and at it. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining this morning. A few of the regulars here already, which is awesome. Do the quick intros while everything's just getting going this morning. Jason Whitton's my name. Some of you know that, but if you don't, and if you're new, that's awesome. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Let us know in the chat where you are, who you are, what's going on. Just like a few of the regulars. Morning, Luke. Morning, Tim. Jeff's there as well. Good to have you guys on the show. How's the old daylight savings treating everyone? For some of you, it hasn't changed. Queensland, a little bit different now. It's 10 past 8, which is 10 past 9 in other places. Yeah, 10 past 9. That's right. Anyway, that's the way it rolls. The cookie crumbles. And we try and go live every day at about 10 past 8 Queensland time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it chucks a bit of spanner in the works, doesn't it, the old daylight savings? But there you go. Well, wherever you are, this time of the year, you've got to try and work it out. 10 past 8 for me in Queensland, which is different in many other places. Chucks a few spanners in the works, like I said before. Anyway, folks, today I thought we might talk about what we need. Yeah, so dark. Morning, Sonia. The 3 parts of a good financial plan for all of you, whether you're a property investor. Dave's in Amsterdam. Hey, my son's in Amsterdam right now, David. There you go. You might run into him. You never know. There you go. The idea of a financial plan, for many of us, we talk about this, who creates financial plans? Well, in the traditional sense, financial planners do, but there's more to it than just financial planners. They're very important to have as part of your team. We talk about 6-star team here at Positive and creating a team of people who can create the right plan for you, the right future, the right tactical and practical steps of implementation and creation when it comes to growing your wealth is pretty important, folks. But I thought we'd talk about the 3 functions of a plan today, in some context, because at the heart of it, you want to generate some wealth. You want to generate some wealth as we go along. The 3 parts of a financial plan in my experience is the idea of growing some assets, creating a protection plan. So this keeps you safe. How do you create a plan around protecting your assets? You need to grow some assets and generate some cash flow, all right? Generate some cash flow as we go. And the idea that these three concepts need to be, implemented and understood when it comes to the world of creating some wealth, a financial plan when it goes to this sort of stuff. So thought we'd talk about how do we do that? What do we do when it comes to this concept? In a little bit of a matrix, let's call it the wealth matrix or the financial plan matrix as we go along. So we want to create some wealth. How do we do that? What are the three pieces to the wealth puzzle? Three pieces to the wealth. How do we protect that wealth, folks? How do we protect that wealth? Because at the end of the day, once you sort of create some wealth, the more you have, the more you need to understand how to protect it. And how do you continue to create cash flow, right? Cash flow from that wealth as we go along. We want your wealth to go up. We want your cash flow to go up. And we want to protect that wealth that we create. Keep it safe within a mechanism of protection. All right, so let's take a look at the three pieces of creating wealth. Where do we create wealth as investors? Put it in the chat, play along at home, folks, with me. What are the three pieces here? And now it's irrelevant whether you're a business owner or a career person, PAYG. That's where you're creating your income for the moment, and we're going to deploy it into places for wealth. And this is some general concepts that, you can have a little think about, and you might change the version of this, but this is our version. Number one, what's the number one thing we do at Positive here at Wealth Coffee Chats? What's our obsession? What do we like the idea of when it comes to investing? Put it in the chat. Starts with a P. Then this one's kind of a bit of a mix. Anyway, there you go. And then the last one, right? Property's in there. You're dead right, Tim. All right, let's get the colors right. So property, the types of property investing for us, creating wealth. Now, depending on who you are, that can be your principal place of residence, your PPR. That can be investment properties, whatever it might be. And it can be commercial properties, business. I'm going to put it business, real property, business, BRP, PPR, IP, BRP, business, real property, right? As we go, create wealth through our property investing. The next one I'm going to put in here. Now, it's kind of a bit misleading. Yep. Shares, exactly. But I'll put investments down here. That can have investments. Because I put super in here because it's a function of an investment as we create money and wealth. Now, super is kind of like it's more like a structure, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But most of us don't understand we have to put money in. Well, we understand it, but we don't get the concept of how much money and how much planning we need to create to get enough money into our super to make it worth it. Your super by itself is an environment. Most of you know this. Into the future, what's one of the great benefits of super into the future? Well, at some point in the future, you can create a tax-free, I'll say it again, a tax-free income, a tax-free future for you and I to have some significant wealth. So it is an asset in that space. Now, even though it might buy some other things, it's a super. Anyway, you understand what I'm trying to say here today. So super, what is it? Why is that create wealth? Over here, tax-free. Okay, tax-free. $1.9 million at this moment in time, tax-free, both capital gains tax-free and income tax-free. Okay, into the future. Great tax benefits. Exactly, Tim. Exactly, right? So the idea, wherever your money flows from, it flows into property, flows into super, flows into other investments. Now, it might flow into super and then go over into another world, but the idea is that it's an investment, money goes in there. And it goes in at lower tax rates as well, folks, as we go along. So where do we create wealth? What are our assets? Property, super, investments. Now, investments, certainly shares. You might invest in businesses, all sorts of stuff, all right? So this idea. Now, how do we protect our assets, folks? And how do we, create some structure around them? Well, the number one, put it in the chat, I, P, and E, right? There might be some extras in here, but the first one, insurances, right? Now, if you're sitting there and you're young, and if you're 20s to 30s, then for many of us, insurances might not even be on our mind, right? When it comes to this stuff. If you've got some assets, if you've got some risk, if you've got some assets, if you've got some risk, if you've got some people you might, if something happened to you, if you couldn't work, if you were injured, if you passed away, what goes on? How does it work? Insurances, what happens to give somebody that you care about, including yourself, some financial assistance based on the right insurances. Now, you've got to talk to the right person. Financial planners are usually pretty good at that stuff, but have a think about that, right? What's the next one? Who knows what these letters mean? Put it in the chat for me. Who knows what POA means when it comes to the world of our wealth? Sometimes to the world of our health as well. But what does POA mean, folks? Because it's pretty important to understand this bit of our lives. It's something that we don't discover often unless accidentally and early in life. But who knows what POAs are? Anyone got it in the chat? Maybe not. Powers of attorney. Powers of attorney, right? So power of attorney, all right? So what does that mean when it comes to our wealth? Well, it's important to understand, again, connected to some unfortunate, yep, that's it, Tim. Nice, Katrina, right? It's important to understand if something happens in your life, who is in charge, who can get access to, who can run things, right? Give you an example, just recently, good friend of ours had some challenges, some health challenges, was put in hospital, and they hadn't created powers of attorney for running their business and doing the payroll at their business. They were the only person that had access to signing off on bank checks and bank accounts and payroll and all this sort of stuff, right? So they're incapacitated in hospital, and the wages can't get paid, right? Now, and there's so many stories of power of attorney when it comes to the world of financial, right? So this is pretty important. You create all this wealth, an accident happens, some health issues happen, something happens. You need to understand if you're not able to make decisions, who's going to make them, all right? And do things in your world, powers of attorney. Insurances, something terrible happens, leave some money behind. Powers of attorney, if something happens, who gets to make decisions and do some things. And last but not least, the world of protection is estate planning. Estate planning, okay? How do you pass this stuff on? If all of this stuff is, let's say, for you and your family in the future, how do you pass on those that wealth if you want to? Maybe it's going to have a great party and have a great time, and the kids and family and friends can take care of their own stuff. Go make your own wealth. I've done my bit. I'll give you a little leg up, but I'm going to have a good time while I'm here. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what you're up to. Who knows? How do you pass it on?
estate planning, really important to understand that concept, right? How do we manage cash flow, folks? How do we manage cash flow? It's pretty important to understand a few things. It's pretty important to understand a few things and manage these three pieces of the puzzle, right? These three pieces of the puzzle. Now, what's the number one thing that affects our cash flow and wealth often that we need to keep an eye on, that can change often? Anyone know what it is? The number one menace, folks. Right, understanding how taxes affect our cash flow. Now, for all of us, there's two parts to this piece, right? How do you manage? Yeah, the politicians. Yeah, exactly. Yep, the politicians messing with our wealth. Taxes are there, and the pollies are related to those people too, related to those things. Right, so the taxes, right? How do we manage and understand which taxes we're exposed to? How do we manage those? How do we delay, defer, and maybe even defeat? All right, the 3 Ds. Delay, defer, or defeat. I call that one. Delay, defer, defeat in the tax game, okay? Because at the end of the day, it is a game that we're participating in, a game of wealth creation, and there's some rules that everyone gets to use, and you can use them in the right way. What are our debts? Well, we want good debt. That good debt creates some income. We want to eliminate bad debt, get rid of the bad debt as we go along, right? And boom, Tim's all over at the end here. You need to understand structures. Structures. What are structures, folks? What are structures? Well, in real terms, let's talk about tax structures. It's individuals, companies, trusts, company trust structures, and super is a structure as well. Okay, companies and trusts. All right, companies and trusts. Structures, how do they work? What's their tax rates? Again, tax flexibility, all that sort of stuff. And structures, to be honest, quite well linked to estate planning and all sorts of stuff. So it's all kind of convoluted, but this is the idea, right? If we create wealth through these mechanisms, how do we protect the wealth? And then how do we keep as much of that cash flow from that wealth as possible through structures, understanding our debts, structuring debt in a really efficient way, and managing our taxes really well as we go along. But there you go. The idea that, when we're creating a plan, let's say a financial plan or a wealth plan, how do we grow the value of our wealth? How do we create some protection mechanisms around it? And how does it continue to generate good cash flow that flows all the way through into your world, your wealth, your pocket, your family, you're investing in the most efficient way. There you go. Anyway, all right, folks, Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted today. Even finished on time. Fancy that. Hopefully that was useful. Maybe twigged a few thoughts, ideas when it comes to creating your plan of wealth, your financial plan. And if you need any help, give us a shout out. We're always here. If you're not in our coaching and mentoring program, you should be. Anyway, there you go. All right, folks, that's it from me. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Pop along tomorrow. We'll do it again at 8:10 Queensland time, and wherever else you are, you need to work that out. Or subscribe, actually. You can subscribe to notifications, and it'll pop up and let you know. Anyway, folks, that's it. Take care. Awesome to have you here. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are all